We have coming on now two shocking Egypts from Limerick. And I want you to give them a big hand, because here they are, Tom and Paschal now.
On New Year's Eve 1961, a young comic act appeared on Telefishern. It was the opening night of the station. The programme was Céad Míle Fáilte, and the comic duo from Limerick performed in a sketch pre-recorded at St Stephen's Green in Dublin. They began in 1955. In time, they become stars of Telefishern. They'd appear at the Albert Hall in London, Dublin's Theatre Royal, Carnegie Hall, New York. Their names, Tom and Paschal, their straight man, Tom O'Donnell.
Good evening, everybody. And may I say at the commencement, looking around this vast auditorium tonight, one cannot help observing that there are indeed many happy hobbies among you tonight. And I would venture to say one or two delinquent daddies. So for you, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to sing, respectfully, I dedicate to all of you, a little sentimental number. If you please, a buskin.
Well, as youngsters in the Scouts, Paschal and I, we had great fun, and during the campfires in the summer, we'd dress up and we'd have a bit of fun around it, making others happy and a bit of a laugh. It was part of the growing up as a Boy Scout. But we had a great love. We'd live from week to week to listen to the Goons, Tony Hancock. Now, I'm really dating myself now, but these were all great comic shows of the day. And we hadn't television in Ireland then, and radio wasn't, we just had radio, the usual programmes. But as young people then, we were all fed on a diet of those great English music hall stars. And Paschal and I developed their style.
Climb upon my knee.
What's my name, Daddy?
Sonny boy.
How old am I, Daddy?
You are only 3.
What's my name, Daddy?
Sonny boy.
Is there any way of knowing?
There's no way of knowing.
Is there any way of showing?
There's no way of showing.
What, Daddy?
What you mean to me.
What's my name, Daddy?
Sonny boy.
In 1959, Tom O'Donnell and Paschal O'Grady first appeared on the big-time scene. In the previous years, they'd worked their vaudeville act in Limerick, but in 1959, they became local stars. They appeared in their show, Christmas Crackers, they performed the show at the Mechanics Hall and the City Theatre, and they crammed the famous theatrical venues with record-breaking runs. The press reviews were ecstatic, they repeated the show year after year, and their comic style drew the attention of the national media.
You see, our comedy, when you talk about comedy, was built on slapstick. We were originally slapstick comedians. You might say that we loved Laurel and Hardy and all the old black and white movies, and we were reared up in that too. You see, in the Gods and the old Lyric in Limerick, watching all Laurel and Hardy, all the comics of those days, and slapstick, and we found out. As I played in our act together, I was the serious one. I was the heavy, the feed, and Paschal was, of course, my sidekick, and he was, you might say, the Stan Laurel of the act. He had a wonderful face. Paschal was a wonderful comedian, and of course, later on, when he removed one set of his teeth, he was terribly funny altogether. He had a contortionist with his features. He'd rubber legs. And he had an endearing pair of eyes that the children loved, the young people loved.
Focus in on camera 1, please. 15 seconds to air. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on the air. Caption up. Roll the national anthem. Take it. Sound. 1 minute and 28 seconds to the president's speech.
On December 31st, 1961, Telefishern was launched in Dublin. At 8:15, the station's first variety show was broadcast. It was called Céad Míle Fáilte, an hour of music, song, ballet and traditional dance. It featured Maureen Potter, Jimmy O'Dea, Mary O'Hara. There was Dermot O'Brien's Céilí Band. There was the Radio Éireann Light Orchestra. And there was also Tom and Paschal. They qualified to appear through a nationwide talent contest. It was called The National Search for a TV Star. It was co-sponsored by Bulmer Cider. The final was held in Dublin's Theatre Royal. The conductor, Frank Chacksfield, the disc jockey, David Jacobs, and the impresario, Fred O'Donovan, adjudicated. And Tom and Paschal won a prize, a black and white TV set, and a spot on Telefishern.
You could say what gave us a great lift up was the national search for a TV star. TV was coming. Ireland was excited. And they held, I think, the Evening Press and Bulmer Cider united to look for this star. And I believe there were 12,000 entered for it. Queues a mile long outside the 4 provinces in Dublin, where we went, so that if we entered in Limerick and we lost, we would have suffered a humiliation. So we entered anyway, and we won out the Dublin area. And who was second to us was a great friend of ours, Dickie Rock. We've become great friends ever since, and a great artist in his own right. And the heats were run in Dublin, and then the final were on at the old Theatre Royal, which has great memories for us. The final was held there, and we were under. I remember a great show that night with Patrick O'Hagan and Joe Lynch, I think was compere, and David Jacobs and all it. But anyway, the prize in here was to be on the opening night. But to be on that opening night, they were so thorough. We were a full week rehearsing in the 4 provinces, under the direction of a Canadian producer named Johnson and a dancing master called Norman Main, internationally famous. And we had to work with the Royalettes in a fantasy ballet in St. Stephen's Green. Now, we were one half of the week rehearsing it in the Green with thousands, hundreds upon hundreds of people with police holding them back, holding the ropes and keep. It was a big Hollywood movie coming to Dublin, and all the students from Trinity used to come down in droves to watch this new phenomenon that was starting in Ireland, television. And we, the 2 little boys from the country, we were the stars of it. We couldn't believe it. And then so we did this ballet with the Royalettes, and I was a park superintendent, and Paschal was a vagrant. It was slapstick. It was up our alley. Slapstick. I with my walking stick and my pea cap, and Paschal was feeding the swans. They were lovely to see. I know it was black and white, and it was transmitted, but it was a lovely, simple thing. It lasted a few minutes, but it was on the opening. It was on the opening programme, Céad Míle Fáilte. And of course, as you may have seen in the recent celebration, we were on there for a few seconds. We told the people how we never saw ourselves on television on the opening night, because the only television in Limerick was in a store window in Limerick, and the snow was falling, and there was 300 or 400 people outside the window trying to catch the opening glimpse of this magnificent thing, the TV. We couldn't get inside the crowd. We never saw ourselves. But it was a great excitement, and it was wonderful, and it is lovely to feel we were part of history at that time. Paschal and I, we didn't know we were part of a great change in Ireland. Television.
We have a Continental Act just arrived in, a bit late, but they're in. So I want you to give a big hand for Tina and Cedric. Here they are, Tina and Cedric. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I say how overjoyed my wife and I were at the invitation of Messier José Locke to be on this presentation tonight. But unfortunately, my wife is not with me. She missed her plane connection at Killabullen Airport. But I was in touch with the Shandon Theatrical Agency, and they very kindly supplied me with an adequate substitute. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome onto the stage to assist me tonight, Mr. Lolita Graciano.
Throughout the 1960s, Tom and Paschal were regular guests on Telefís. They secured a permanent slot on the country and western programme Jamboree. They appeared with Frank Hall, Joe Linnane, with Brendan O'Reilly. They soon were guests of Joseph Locke. They appeared on The Late Late Show, and they became one of television's most popular acts.
My musical associate and I would like to, in this very brief recital, sing for you a song which I resurrected in the Far East of Tipperary. And a little number, a Spanish number, which we recorded recently on LP on the HP, and it was released 3 months after we were Giantala Cantabile, a mosaic, master, mosaic.
A butcher by, I want to marry a butcher by. Mama dear, come over here and Susan looking in my window.
It's a butcher boy, and no, he's got the parcel in his hand.
We had a great run on television. As I say, especially in the 60s, the 10 or 12 years, 60s, stroke 70s, they were our big years, if I do say so. We got a lot of television work because we were visual. We were ideal for television. Although I must admit now, and I must be fair now, I can say it in looking back, we never liked television because it didn't do us full justice. And so we got get crit notices in the newspapers, and they all said about Tom and Paschal that they hadn't the proper scope for their talents. This is what they said, what they wrote, that we were visual comics. So we were very suitable, but we weren't, may I say, at the time, I hate to say this now, but I'm being honest, RT haven't a great reputation for handling comedy. And in our days, they couldn't do it because the ideas we had, the comic ideas we had, we couldn't get them out. And we'd be rehearsing all day for a 5 or 6 minute act, rehearsing 9 in the morning on the floor, and then when the audience came in at 8 o'clock that night, we were tired, we felt like robots, and we couldn't get the spontaneity that our humour needed to make the people happy. So we were never at home in comedy, but at the same time we did lovely spots in beautiful, I look back with great memories, fond memories, to such shows now as, let me see now, the Patrick O'Hagan show, The Life of Riley, the late Brendan O'Reilly, Frank Hall, Newsbeat, we did lots of spots in that, little topical pieces. Joe Linnane show, Butch Moore show, all these aspects. We were everyone's guest. In fact, some people said we were in danger of being overexposed at one stage because every time people said, every blooming time we turn on the television, you're on it. We were everybody's guest for 2 reasons. We made people laugh, we made the viewers laugh, and secondly, our colleagues loved us. We were nice people to work with.
Excuse me, Father. That's the secretary of the ICR. She's coming.
Hello, Cassie.
Oh, hello, Noni. How are you?
Hello.
Delighted to see you.
Cassie, I was
Yes.
just at the dispensary, and I said if I passed Cassie Kane's door without calling in to see her, the flash would be in the fire.
It would indeed.
To bring the fire.
And 'tis well you know it. Yes.
Cassie.
But listen, I'm delighted. But could you call some other day because I have a visitor now.
Have you?
I have a
I'm
visitor
sorry,
now.
so, Cassie.
Yes.
What's the priest doing, Cassie? You getting the house blessed again?
No. No such thing. No, he's our new parish priest, and he came down specially to see me to ask me some advice on how to run the parish.
Oh, that's lovely.
So,
That's
it's that
great,
nice.
that's grand.
So if you call tomorrow, I'll have all day for you.
Lovely, I'll do that.
God bless you.
I'll just say hello to him before I go.
No,
Hello, Father. How are you? Hello. I'm here for
Excuse me,
Cassie.
Father. This is Noni Whalen, and now neighbour, Father.
How do you do, Father? How do you
That's
do?
it.
That's an old neighbour. 17 years under one London, Father, and never the Linda Balone of an iron.
No, Father.
Or a squeeze of blue.
No, Father. Very.
Sit down, Father. Sit down. Take the raise up your face. Sit down.
Are you going away then?
No, Cassie, I'll wait because the other fellas down at the Labour Exchange and they won't close till 5.
There are very few remaining samples of Tom and Paschal's Catty and Noni, and what you've just heard is one. It's a railroad recording of the duo's most popular act. It was first performed on Stephen's Night 1959. It featured 2 old gossips from Limerick. They were dressed in coats, hats and scarves. They were poor but happy, and to anyone growing up in the 60s, they became well-known, lovable figures of fun.
The very first show we ran, review we ran, it was over at 10:15, when it should go on until 11. So I turned to Paschal and said, Paschal, if we let the people go out on the street at 10:15, they'll say they were cheated, that we robbed them, that was a rip-off. So what did we do? We grabbed 2 women's coats in the cloakroom and 2 old hats, pulled up our pantses, an old bit of a pram that the caretaker of the hall, the mechanics hall, and we went out on the stage and we spontaneously, no rehearsal, never done it before, we did the 2 old ladies, Cassie and Noni. Kathleen, of course, and Noreen might be the correct, but we call us as they would in any city or town, but particularly in our native city of Limerick, Cassie and Noni. 2 old ladies who had a lovely philosophy in life. If God shuts one door, he closes another, was a line from it, actually. But they were 2 lovely women. Paschal looked very fun. Paschal looked really down and out, and I was a little more prosperous, because at least while his or her husband stayed in bed reading the racing notes off the newspaper, my husband actually went out and looked for work, and at the same time prayed he wouldn't get it. That was the difference, the 2 ladies. But the people of Ireland, may I say, and across the water in the States, we even brought Cathy and Odie to Carnegie, the stage of Carnegie Hall. The people loved these 2 lovely old women who had nothing in life, none of the goods of life. They were married to 2 wasters, but they were good to her. They loved their husbands. After all, as they say in their sketch, they took them for better or for worser.
Where was the vehicle when you last observed that was missing?
Oh, you mean like that?
When you went in and you came out and you thought your bike wasn't, where did you think you left it? When you discovered your bike wasn't there and you thought it was, when you think it should have been and it wasn't and you came out, where did you last leave your blooming bike?
Oh, outside Lucky Larry's booking office.
Lucky Lawrence's gambling emporium. Now tell me this, in what direction was the vehicle facing? In what? Was it facing up or facing down?
Oh, that way.
Which way?
That way. Up that way.
That way. As I thought, a Tony.
Throughout the 1960s, Tom and Paschal continued to perform on Telefís Éireann. Most of their performances went out live. Rare old copies like this one still exist of some of their sketches. And throughout that decade, the duo continued to prosper. They signed for Eamon Andrews Studios. They toured the country. They appeared top of the bill at Dublin's Theatre Royal. They appeared at the venue in Royal Parade, the last show to be staged before it closed. They were offered many series on Radio Éireann, and they appeared on the BBC and also performed in Britain. Tom and Paschal became one of the best-known touring acts of the 1960s.
We were doing a season, which we did for many years, at one of the biggest entertainment hotels in the south of Ireland. And this night, there were 600 or 700 tourists in, mainly from England and America, this big hotel. And during the show, there was a man out in the front row. And looking at Paschal and myself doing one of our silly acts, he was laughing and laughing and laughing. And didn't he? He literally died laughing. He literally died laughing. And he collapsed on the floor and he was taken out. And there was Paschal and I looking at this sad event passing. But I kept on going while people took him away outside in the hall and his wife trailing after him. So anyway, we finished our act anyway a few minutes later, and I said I learned outside in the hall, or the vestibule as they might say in good circles, that the poor man had gone to his maker. He had died. So back I went into the theatre and I said, how am I going to handle 500 or 600 happy tourists now and tell them there's a man had died in their midst? So I pulled myself together and I said, ladies and gentlemen, just before the interval, you'll see where a member of the audience has got ill. I said, gentlemen, well now, you'll be pleased to hear, said I, that he is being attended to, which was correct. He was being attended to, but life had left him and he'd gone where all good people go. So anyway, at the same time, the show went on then and everything was grand, until we learned afterwards the poor man had in fact died. But the next thing we heard was, I inquired about it later on several phone calls to the management of that hotel, what had happened. It seems his good lady wife had sent him back to Glasgow. Back to Glasgow she sent him from Cork Airport, his remains. But she stayed on for 4 days for the remainder of the tour to get the value of her money. Typical Scottish, one might say. But it must have been a very happy marriage anyway when she went away for the remaining 4 days and enjoyed herself, and poor man was in cold storage in the airport over in Glasgow Airport.
In 1965, Tom and Paschal reached the pinnacle of their fame at Carnegie Hall, New York. The invite to America came in January 65. It came from promoter Bill Fuller. The comics played to a crowd of 5,000, many of them Irish. Their brand of slapstick comedy appealed to an audience reared on the Keystone Cops. The reviews were good, and within 12 months they were back again, once more performing at Carnegie Hall.
The second time we were there, we came back and our promoters over there had arranged a further 3 weeks tour or work permit for 3 more weeks, and we were booked to appear in the Johnny Carson's Late Show. A great gig to get, super gig. In fact, people said if we got it, we'd never come back to Ireland again. It would launch us coast to coast. So what happened was, anyway, we had to cancel everything and refuse everything, because we promised the parish council in Killadysert down in West Clare, we had promised them we'd do a show for funds to improve the hall, and we didn't want to disappoint them, and many others also. So what we did was we left Kennedy Airport and incidentally got a great send-off from all our Limerick relatives and cousins. They all came to see us off. We flew across back home to Shannon, had a few hours rest, got into the car in a blinding storm and made our way out to the village of Killadysert. Now, when we arrived out there, still bleary-eyed and still the excitement of the night before in Carnegie Hall, out on the road, there was a tin shed at the side of the road, and full of bicycles, horse and pony and traps, because cars were scarce then, and there was several cars there, right enough. But anyway, outside the door on the road was one of the committee, or as I say in those parts, the committee. There he was. In his hand was a fob watch. Now, a fob watch is a big pocket watch in the old days, like a turnip. He took it out, and with his peak cap and his Wellington boots in him, he looked at the two of us askance and says, "What kept ye?" Now, we came across the world. We turned down money, we turned down fame. Just to keep our appointment with this little parish council. And our chairman was out on the road, and he says, "What kept ye?"
We out to see the Pope at all, Cashy?
Oh, a big pardon?
We out to see the Pope.
No, I couldn't. No, John wasn't
John,
well.
John.
No, John had a touch of it. It's a mania. He couldn't make it.
Oh, why don't you give him a dose of castor oil and let him sleep it off? Be frank, Cashy. I went out, Cashy.
You were out to see His Holiness.
I gathered me legs under me.
Did you?
Took the 2 youngsters with me, Harry and Bridie, and went off out to the racecourse.
Did you?
I did.
Oh,
Out
wasn't
to the
that
racecourse.
lovely?
But you know, Cashy, he was late for Mass.
Oh, was he?
Didn't come down till the gospel was over. No, he didn't come into the gospel was over. No. Will he have to go to confession for that now, Cashy?
In 1961, the arrival of Telefishern transformed the entertainment business. The new box on the corner destroyed the old travelling shows. Many local stars went out of fashion. But for acts like Tom and Paschal, the new medium brought huge success. They appeared in their own TV special. They guested on Broadsheet, Newsbeat, The Life of O'Reilly, Cover Story, Wanderly Wagon. They appeared on the likes of Mike, Pick and the Pops, Hullabaloo. And from that opening night back in 1961, they became national stars. Then, in October 1994, after almost 40 years in the business, they retired, bringing to an end the career of one of Ireland's most famous comedy acts, Tom and Paschal.
My biggest trouble with Paschal was trying to keep serious while he was looking into my face, because he had a very, very funny face. And many times we genuinely dried up. I know some comedians dry up for effect, artificial, but in our case, I literally was shattered. I couldn't keep. I tell you something, we loved being funny so much that was a joy. And from time to time, I have thanked the good Lord above, with whom I keep in constant touch. A direct line. to the man above. Thank him for the wonderful gift he gave us to make people happy and to enjoy it. Look we were singled out to enjoy, to be paid, given a decent living. No big money, not like today now. No big money, but enough to live on and be happy and make people, because the sound of laughter, the cheering. Tom and Paschal, they say, writers say this now, not us, people who are writing, critics that, we never left the stage to applause, we left to cheers.
Climb upon my knee.
What's my name, Daddy?
Sonny boy.
How old am I, Daddy?
You are only 3.
What's my name, Daddy?
Sonny boy.
I thank the good Lord for giving Paschal and myself the gift of making people happy and laugh and being paid for it. We had a wonderful life, a wonderful, happy life, made thousands and thousands of friends. We would hope we won the affection of a lot of people, and we would do it. We both said we would do it again tomorrow, but sadly the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
And when the angels grew lonely,
What did the angels do, Daddy?
took you 'cause they're lonely.
Are you lonely, Daddy?
Yes, I'm lonely too.
What's my name, Daddy?
So